Imagine ancient texts spinning tales of nuclear bombs and flying machines, millennia before the modern world caught up. Now, let's hitch a ride back to the 20th century with the Manhattan Project and the legendary J. Robert Oppenheimer. Talk about a blast from the past, right? This monumental effort during World War II wasn't just about building the first nuclear bomb. It was about gathering the brightest sparks in science and engineering, all under the USA's roof. And at the epicenter was Oppenheimer, a theoretical physicist who, despite his eyebrow-raising political views and fresh leadership badge, morphed into the linchpin of success at the Los Alamos laboratory in New Mexico. He pretty much turned a secretive spot in the desert into nerd central for groundbreaking research. Who would have thought that a physicist with zero leadership creds would end up playing such a colossal role, huh? Imagine this, the brilliant Robert Oppenheimer, orchestrating a team of genius scientists like Enrico Fermi and Ernest Lawrence. It's wartime urgency, and there's Oppenheimer, in the thick of it, burning the midnight oil, driven by a real do-or-die vibe. Fast forward to July 16, 1945, New Mexico desert. The first atomic bomb test is a success, terrifying, but a success. Right then, Oppenheimer, caught up in the monumental impact of what they've just unleashed, drops a massive quote from the Bhagavad Gita.
"Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Chills, right? That line basically became the catchphrase for the whole nuclear age kickoff party. And here's a kicker, in a later tell-all, Oppenheimer hints that maybe, just maybe, the US wasn't the only one cooking up atomic bombs. Eyes on the Soviet Union, folks. Yep, our man Oppenheimer knew the stakes were global, and that little bomb of his? It changed the world's game plan forever. Given his pivotal involvement in the Manhattan Project, J. Robert Oppenheimer forever etched his name into the annals of history, ushering us into a thrilling yet hair-raising era of warfare. Now, let's leap back even further, way back, to ancient Indian texts like the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. These aren't just your ordinary dusty scrolls, no, they are electrifying epics brimming with tales of heroism and a moral compass that could put a GPS to shame. Delving into the Mahabharata, one of the beefiest epic poems you'll ever encounter, you uncover scintillating descriptions of what appears to be advanced technology. We're talking about jaw-dropping astronomical calculations, cutting-edge medical procedures that could rival a modern-day Earth, and metallurgical techniques so sophisticated, they'd make today's engineers go green with envy. And let's not forget those power-packed weapons like the Brahmastra, capable of causing destruction on a nuclear scale. These riveting tales not only showcase the sheer brainpower of ancient Indian civilizations but also tease us with the possibility of historical high-tech savvy. Hold on to your hats, folks, because when the Brahmastra is unleashed, it's like the biggest, baddest 4th of July fireworks show you've ever seen, but on a cosmic scale. Picture a monster fireball that lights up with terrible, scorching flames, all while thunder cracks around like the world's most intense rock concert. Nature itself watches in horror, as trees shake, oceans quiver, and even animals stop in their tracks. But wait, it gets crazier. Enter the Brahmastra, a weapon that makes the Brahmastra look like a squirt gun. This bad boy is described as being 4 times stronger and can wipe someone's existence clean off the time-space continuum. The Mahabharata tells us that deploying these heavy hitters led to a mind-boggling body count of 1.5 billion in just 18 days. That kind of devastation is almost unfathomable, like something straight out of an apocalyptic blockbuster. These intense accounts have puzzled many, with some scholars scratching their heads, wondering if these ancient texts are hinting at nuclear war before it was even a thing. Talk about a historical plot twist.
Welcome to the wild world of the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, where the tales of advanced weaponry aren't just epic, they're epically dramatic. Picture this: an ancient scripture loaded with descriptions of weapons that sound suspiciously like modern-day WMDs. Whether these stories are taken literally or seen as symbolic, they pack a serious punch in showcasing the sheer destructive power of technology. It's like the ancients were scriptwriters for a blockbuster action movie, reminding us to think twice about the moral dilemmas of our own technological advances. And oh, let's not forget about the Ramayana with its mind-blowing tech specs. Enter the Vimanas, aka the ancient jet-setters. The most iconic of them all, the Pushpaka Vimana, commandeered by none other than the demon king Ravana himself. This flying wonder didn't just cruise, it zoomed through the skies with agility and grace, covering vast distances faster than you could say, supersonic. Whether it's fact or fiction, these texts throw us into the cockpit of imagination, fueled by tales of technology way ahead of their times. Buckle up, it's a thrilling ride through ancient innovation. Hold on to your hats, folks, because the Ramayana isn't just your run-of-the-mill epic, it's a techno-marvel of ancient Indian ingenuity. You thought modern aircraft were the bee's knees? Well, the Ramayana talked about Vimanas, these flying machines that would give any modern jet a run for its money. But hang on, there's more. This ancient text doesn't just stop at uber-cool flying contraptions. Nope, it packs a punch with descriptions of awe-inspiring weapons, known as divine astras. Think of them as the ancient drones of warfare. And if you thought that was the peak, brace yourself. The Ramayana also peeks into advanced medical practices. We're talking herbal remedies and surgical procedures that would make a 21st century doctor raise an eyebrow. Plus, it showcases some pretty snazzy architectural skills, massive fortresses and cities built with what must have been an ancient form of AutoCAD. Whether you consider these accounts as symbolic or believe in their literal truth, one thing's for sure. The Ramayana's depiction of technological marvels keeps historians, tech geeks, and science buffs on the edge of their seats. The ancient Indian flair for science and technology? Absolutely riveting.
Diving into the pages of ancient epics like the Mahabharata and the Ramayana is like stepping into a hybrid world of history and fantasy. These texts are chock full of what seems like high-tech gadgetry and weapons of mass destruction. But hold your horses, before we pull out our tinfoil hats, interpretations of these elements spring up a highly entertaining debate. Many scholars throw the flag on the play, suggesting that these technological marvels are not references to ancient alien tech but are, in fact, mighty metaphors. Imagine the Vamanas and celestial weapons not as UFOs or lightsabers, but as symbols of deep spiritual knowledge or human virtues. Bam! Suddenly, they transform from sci-fi props to profound life lessons from the past. On the flip side, there are some intrepid researchers ready to rumble with the idea that maybe, just maybe, these epics hint at lost technologies once as real as your smartphone, only a few thousand years older and possibly powered by cosmic energy. Whether they are tales of ethics or cryptic tech manuals, these ancient sagas keep us hooked with their blend of mystery, moral dilemmas, and the occasional cosmic explosion. What's not to love? Imagine stepping into a time machine and discovering that our ancient ancestors were not just chiseling stones, but had some pretty snazzy gadgets up their sleeves. Take the Antikythera mechanism from Greece. No, it's not a fancy Greek salad, but a 2000-year-old device that could predict astronomical positions. Mind-blowing, right? Now, whisk yourself to King Tut's tomb, yes, the boy king, and among the gold and jewels, scientists find this mysterious glass-like material. Was it an ancient form of Gorilla Glass for Pharaoh's iPhone? We might never know, but it sure tickles the imagination. Despite such juicy tidbits, our hard-nosed historians and skeptical scientists are playing hard to get. They demand more than just whispers of wonders, they want cold, hard proof before declaring the ancients tech wizards. And if we're tying nods to history buffs, let's not forget about Jay Robert Oppenheimer, a brainy chap deeply enchanted by the Bhagavad Gita, an ancient Indian epic that's about as thick as your average city's phone book. It inspired him profoundly. Who knows, maybe he channeled his inner Arjuna to develop those mind-boggling theories in physics. So, as the debate rages on whether ancient tech was a thing, our quest for understanding continues to be as thrilling as a detective story at a disco. Keep your shovels ready, history might just be tetchier than we think. Imagine this, J. Robert Oppenheimer, the mastermind behind the Manhattan Project, getting swept up in the epic swirl of the Bhagavad Gita's ancient wisdom. As he's cobbling together the atom bomb, thoughts of duty and destiny from those sacred texts are buzzing in his head. And bam, he drops the line, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of world." Talk about drama. This guy's wrestling with the massive ethical pickle of unleashing atomic power, all while dipping into cosmic themes of destruction and rebirth. It's like mixing old school philosophy with sci-fi tech, totally mind-boggling. So next time you're pondering the mysteries of the universe or just your next big project, remember, a little ancient wisdom could add that epic flair to your modern masterpiece. Imagine stepping back in time and finding that ancient civilizations like India, Egypt, and Greece were not just about chariots and spears, but had a flair for what we might call high-tech gadgets. Let's dive into how these societies might just give modern science a run for its money. Take the epics from India, the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. Oh, they're not just dusty old texts. They describe some jaw-dropping technologies, from devastating weapons to flying machines that could rival any modern-day airline. Now, there's this weapon in the Mahabharata called the Brahmastra. And guess what? It's often compared to a nuclear bomb. Yes, you heard that right. And the Pushpaka Vamana, mentioned as a flying chariot, sounds eerily like a Boeing 747. But wait, there's more. Ever heard of the Antikythera mechanism? This mysterious artifact discovered in the depths of the sea suggests these ancient folks were not just playing around with sticks and stones but possibly had a grasp on advanced engineering. While these connections are super intriguing, mainstream scientists are tapping their brakes, calling for solid proof before jumping on the ancient tech bandwagon. They view many of these descriptions as metaphorical, perhaps allegorical stories meant to impart moral lessons rather than historical blueprints of ancient tech. But who knows, right? The past might have been way more tech-savvy than we give it credit for.